Hi, I'm Emily, an HR manager at the Grand Plaza Hotel chain. My job has its perks: employee discounts, event planning benefits, and access to our luxury venues. Perks I never imagined could turn my life upside down. But that's exactly what happened when my little sister Kate got engaged. You're the first person I wanted to tell. Kate's voice bubbled through the phone one evening. Tom proposed last night. It was perfect. I couldn't help but smile. Kate and I had always been close, sharing everything since we were kids. I'm so happy for you. Tell me everything. Well, her tone shifted, hesitant. Could we meet for coffee tomorrow? There's something I want to discuss. The next day, I met Kate at Starbucks. She wasn't alone. Amanda, her ever-present friend, sat beside her with a tablet in hand and wedding magazines spread across the table. Red flags should have gone up right then. So Emily, Amanda began before Kate could even speak. Kate tells me you can get amazing discounts on wedding venues through your job. I nodded, stirring my latte. Yeah, it's one of the perks. Employees get significant discounts at any of our locations. Amanda slid her tablet across the table, revealing photos of the Grand Plaza Ballroom, our most prestigious venue. Isn't it perfect? Kate's eyes sparkled as she leaned forward. I know it's a huge favor, but would you help me with the venue? The Grand Plaza is my dream location, but we could never afford it at full price. Of course I'll help, I said, the words spilling out before I could think. You're my sister. Later that day, my coworker Sarah raised an eyebrow when I mentioned it. Be careful with wedding favors, Emily, even with family. Kate's different, I assured her. We've always had each other's backs. If only I had listened. I threw myself into helping Kate plan her perfect day. Tom, her fiancé, seemed oddly quiet about the whole thing, but I assumed he was just letting Kate have her moment. I even got my director's approval to use my employee benefits, everything completely above board. Looking back, I should have noticed the signs. Amanda was always there, whispering in Kate's ear. Kate's requests grew more demanding with each passing week, but I was too busy being the perfect big sister to see the cracks forming. As the wedding day approached, things spiraled out of control. Small requests turned into extravagant demands. The original menu isn't good enough anymore, I asked during yet another planning meeting. Amanda interjected before Kate could respond. Seafood. Premium options. It's what they served at my cousin's wedding. Kate didn't even glance up from her phone. We need the upgrade. You can make that happen, right? Every time I hesitated, Amanda would chime in, her voice sugary sweet. Come on, Emily. It's your sister's special day. Don't you want it to be perfect? One evening during a venue walkthrough, Tom pulled me aside. Emily, there's something you need to know about. There you are. Amanda's voice cut through the air as she appeared, linking arms with Kate. We need to discuss the honeymoon suite upgrade. Tom shot me a worried look but fell silent as Kate dragged him away. I should have pressed him to finish that conversation. On the morning of the wedding, Kate demanded the presidential suite for her preparations, despite the bridal suite we'd already reserved. By the time the ceremony started, I was running on fumes from handling one crisis after another. During the reception, Kate clanked her glass to signal the speeches. My stomach tightened when Amanda grabbed the microphone. I'd like to thank everyone who made this magical day possible. Amanda's voice dripped with sweetness as she addressed the crowd, a sly smile playing on her lips. Especially Emily, who so generously used her employee benefits. She leaned in conspiratorially, stage whispering. Though between us, I'm not sure all of it was exactly company approved. Awkward laughter rippled through the room. My face burned as I tried to process what she just said. Kate joined in, her tone light and playful. Well, what are big sisters for, right? Though maybe next time, Emily, check what's actually covered before making promises. My phone buzzed, cutting through the humiliation. An urgent email from HR flashed on the screen. Subject: Immediate investigation. Benefit fraud allegations. Stumbling to the bathroom, I felt the walls closing in. I was hyperventilating when Sarah found me. Emily, she said, her voice low. Corporate received a formal complaint about fraudulent use of employee benefits. They've suspended your access while they investigate. Whoa, the realization hit like a punch to the gut. Kate, she filed it, didn't she? Sarah's grim expression was all the confirmation I needed. The complaint came in last week, from both Kate and Amanda. I stumbled back into the ballroom, barely able to breathe. Across the room, Kate and Amanda stood by the cake, giggling and taking selfies, oblivious to the wreckage they'd left behind. Kate beamed when she saw me, her smile as radiant as ever. "Oh, by the way," she chirped, "Amanda's uncle is a director at Grand Plaza's corporate office. He was very interested in hearing about our little benefit arrangement." The room spun as the pieces clicked into place. This wasn't an accident. This had been their plan all along, to use me, twist the narrative, and leave me to bear the consequences. My sister, the person I'd moved mountains to help, had betrayed me. But as I watched them laugh, something inside me hardened. If they wanted to play games, fine. Game on. 3 days. That's how long I was suspended while corporate investigated. My hands trembled as I stared at my locked computer screen. Sarah popped her head into my office. "Remember the screenshots I told you to take of Kate's requests? Time to use them." I nodded, pulling out my phone and scrolling through months of texts and emails. "Here's one," I said, pointing to a message. "Kate specifically asked me to check with corporate about using my benefits, and here's their approval." "Got something better," Sarah said, placing a USB drive on my desk. "Security footage. It's from your venue meetings, including the one where Amanda practically dictated the complaint." Before I could respond, my phone buzzed. It was Tom. "Emily," he said, his voice heavy. "We need to talk. Not over the phone. Can you meet me?" An hour later, at a coffee shop far from the hotel, Tom slid a folder across the table. "Kate left these at our apartment," he said quietly. "Text messages between her and Amanda. They go back 6 months." I flipped through the pages, my blood running cold. 3 other venues. 3 other employees who lost their jobs because of them. Tom nodded. "There's more." He hesitated, his voice pained. "Amanda's uncle isn't a corporate director. That was a lie to scare you. But they are threatening to go public with fraud allegations unless the hotel gives them a full refund." "Why are you showing me this?" "Because I'm done watching them destroy people." He sighed. "Kate, she's not the person I thought I was marrying. I've already filed for an annulment." Back at the office, Sarah and I worked late into the night. She pulled records of Amanda's past events at other hotels while I gathered statements from vendors who'd witnessed Kate and Amanda's manipulations. "Look at this," Sarah said, pointing to her screen. "Amanda's previous complaints all followed the same pattern. Find someone to help, claim they offered unauthorized discounts, then threaten to go public unless they get a refund. The difference is," I said, a grim smile forming, "they've never gone after someone who documented everything." By the time we were done, we had everything. Security footage showing Amanda coaching Kate on how to frame the complaint. Email threads proving corporate had approved all benefits. Witness statements from hotel staff. My phone buzzed. An email from Tom. Attached were audio recordings. "Got it," I said, listening to a drunken Kate bragging about the scam at their honeymoon resort. Sarah grinned. "Corporate's going to love this." The corporate boardroom fell silent as I finished my presentation. Every piece of evidence was laid out before them. Director Thompson leaned forward, his gaze sharp. "Let me be clear," he said, his voice measured. "Not only did you have proper authorization for every benefit, but this scheme was malicious and calculated." "But you're saying Miss Amanda Chen has orchestrated similar schemes at other hotels?" Director Thompson asked, his tone sharp with disbelief. "Yes, sir," I replied, clicking to the final slide. "These are statements from 3 other venues where Amanda and her associates filed nearly identical complaints. Each time, they targeted employees who assisted with events and demanded refunds under the threat of bad publicity." Sarah clicked to the next file, and Kate's slurred voice filled the room. "It was so easy. Amanda's done this like 4 times. Emily's just the first family member stupid enough to fall for it." The executive panel exchanged knowing glances. Director Thompson straightened. "Miss Russell, we owe you an apology. Not only are you cleared of all allegations, but we'd like to offer you a promotion. Your attention to detail is exactly what we need in our corporate events division." Later that afternoon, my office phone rang. It was the local police requesting statements about Amanda's fraudulent complaints. Apparently, the other hotels were pressing charges. Before I could process that, my cell buzzed with a text from Tom. "Kate just found out you're not fired. She's freaking out. Heads up, she's on her way." I was reading the official announcement of my promotion when Kate burst into my office, Amanda trailing behind. How dare you? Kate's face was red with fury. You've ruined everything. Do you know what this will do to my reputation? I stayed seated, calm. Your reputation? I asked. You mean your reputation for scamming people who tried to help you? Or your reputation for betraying your own sister? We can fix this, Amanda cut in, her tone smooth and practiced. Just tell corporate there was a misunderstanding. Like you fixed it at the Grand Marquis or the Plaza downtown. I leaned back, watching their faces pale. Those venues send their regards, by the way. They're very interested in speaking with you both. Emily, please. Kate's voice cracked, desperation seeping through. I was stupid. You're my sister. I stood meeting her eyes. No, Kate. A sister wouldn't set me up for fraud. A sister wouldn't try to destroy my career for a refund scam. You're not my sister anymore. You're just another person who tried to take advantage of me and failed. Security arrived, escorting them out as I watched through the glass. Kate was crying, while Amanda frantically made phone calls. Sarah appeared, carrying 2 coffee cups. Just heard Amanda's real uncle. She smirked. Not the fake corporate director. Kicked her out of the family business. Apparently he doesn't appreciate her using his company's name in her schemes. And Kate. Tom's lawyer is having a field day with the evidence. Between the annulment and potential fraud charges, she shrugged. Let's just say her dream wedding turned into a nightmare. I glanced at my new office nameplate, Director of Corporate Events. You know what the best revenge is, Sarah? I asked, sipping my coffee. What's that? Success. And making sure they'd never hurt anyone else again. Through the window, I watched Kate and Amanda leave the building, heads down and defeated. They thought I was an easy target, someone they could manipulate and discard. Instead, they learned an important lesson. Sometimes the people you underestimate are the ones you should fear the most. What would you do if you discovered your closest sibling had been plotting against you for months? Was Emily right to cut ties completely, or should family always get a second chance? Share your thoughts in the comments below.